My girlfriend announced, "If you go to that bachelor weekend, I'm sleeping with my ex." She wanted complete control over my life. So I gave her a photo of me clinking beers with that very ex at the bachelor party. I'm not proud of everything I did, but I'm proud of finally waking up. I'm 30, my now ex-girlfriend, Lena, 29, had been in my life for a little over a year, and for a while it felt good enough that I ignored the little warning bells. We met at a mutual friend's fundraiser in Austin, and she dazzled me at first, the kind of woman who knew every trendy restaurant, always had perfect hair, perfect nails, perfect timing for those curated Instagram stories. I work in live production, sound engineering for concerts, and my world is basically cables, coffee, and trying to keep musicians calm during chaos. Her world was glow-ups, networking events, micro-influencer brand deals. It was fine at first. Different, but fine. And then my best friend, Travis, told me he wanted me as his best man. His bachelor weekend was set in Dallas. Barbecue, a lake day, a couple bars. Nothing wild. He and I have been tight since 6th grade. There's no world where I'm not at that weekend. Lena never clicked with Travis's fiancée, Brooke. She said Brooke was bland, which honestly confused everyone because Brooke is a high school teacher who bakes for fun and once rescued a stray cat during a storm. But apparently being wholesome is a crime in Lena's universe. Things built up slowly. Lena refusing to come to dinners if Brooke was there, eye rolls when I talked about wedding planning, snide comments about people who never leave their small towns, stuff like that. I brushed it off because I thought she'd mellow out. Then 3 days before I was supposed to leave for Dallas, she walked into my room while I was packing and said it so casually you'd think she was asking about laundry. "If you go to that bachelor weekend, I'm sleeping with my ex." I froze. Her ex, Chris, was someone she told me all about early in our relationship. She claimed he was emotionally distant, couldn't handle her ambition, still tried to text her now and then, all that classic stuff. I trusted her. I didn't care about some ex who was supposedly in the rearview mirror. But the way she said it, it wasn't emotional, it wasn't panicked, it wasn't sad. It was tactical, a move on a chessboard. I asked her, "Why would you say something like that?" She just crossed her arms and stared like she expected me to fold. "Because I'm not letting you ditch me for a stupid bro trip," she said. "If you go, that's your choice. And I'll make mine." Something inside me just clicked off. Maybe it was the long months of letting things slide. Maybe it was the exhaustion of being managed instead of loved. I set down the shirt in my hands and told her, "Don't do anything you'd hate to see me do." And I walked out. She blew up my phone immediately. Long paragraphs about betrayal, about me choosing other people over my relationship, accusations that I was abandoning her in a fragile emotional state. I turned my phone on Do Not Disturb, drove to Travis's place, and slept on his couch. I couldn't ignore the feeling gnawing at me, though. Why threaten me with that? Why Chris? Why so specific? Around 2 in the morning, staring at the ceiling like an idiot, I ended up looking Chris up online. He wasn't hard to find. LinkedIn profile, normal job, normal life. Then Instagram, public account. He looked fine. Normal guy. Totally unremarkable. Or so I thought. I don't know what possessed me. Maybe sleep deprivation. Maybe curiosity. Maybe something in me finally wanted the truth. But I messaged him. "Hey man, I'm dating Lena. Can we talk?" I expected nothing. Instead, he responded 20 minutes later. "Yeah, when and where?" The next afternoon, we met at a small brewery near his office. The moment he saw me, he said, "Let me guess. She threatened you with something involving me." I swear I forgot how breathing worked. Then he pulled out his phone and showed me screenshots. Messages from her. Hundreds. "I miss you. We belong together. Why won't you answer me? You ruined my life by leaving. He's not you." Then others full of rage, insults, pleading, guilt trips. He told me she'd been messaging him for months, that she showed up at his gym, that she once appeared at his parents' house unannounced, and told his mom they were basically engaged. Chris said he had blocked her multiple times, but she always found another number or account. A pit opened in my stomach. That entire time she'd been feeding me a story about him chasing her. while she was the one circling him like an orbit she refused to leave. I told him about the ultimatum. He sighed like a man who'd already been through the entire war and was watching someone else walk into battlefield. She's using me as leverage, he said, not because she wants me, because she wants to control you. I should have left it at that. I really should have. But fate, or karma, works in strange ways. While we were wrapping up, one of the groomsmen called to say someone dropped out of the Bachelor weekend last minute. They needed one more person for the lake boat rental. I looked at Chris. He looked at me, and I asked, "Want to come?" He blinked a few times, like his brain needed a second to catch up. Then he laughed. "You're serious?" "Dead serious." "Screw it," he said. "Why not?" And that's how I ended up bringing my girlfriend's ex, the very man she threatened me with, to my best friend's Bachelor weekend. Friday morning came fast. The guys met us at the marina. I introduced Chris simply as a friend who needed a weekend off, and Travis immediately handed him a beer and said, "Cool. Anyone who shows up with more booze and excuses is good with me." The lake day was incredible. Sun, music, burgers on the grill. Chris fit in shockingly well. He and Travis's younger brother ended up talking football for an hour. At one point, I realized I hadn't thought about Lena in hours. That alone felt like a luxury. But the moment that set the entire chain reaction in motion happened that evening during golden hour. Someone suggested a group photo on the rooftop patio of the Airbnb. We all crowded in, arms draped over shoulders, beers raised, stupid grins everywhere. Chris was right beside me, smiling like someone who hadn't had a carefree weekend in years. The photo came out great. Too great. And maybe it was a whiskey or the adrenaline or the sense of freedom hitting all at once. But I sent the picture to Lena with a message. Having a blast with my new buddy. Not my proudest moment. Not my worst either. The phone buzzed 30 seconds later. Then again. Missed calls. Texts. Paragraphs. Accusations. Screaming in all caps. I silenced the phone. Chris looked at me and asked, "You okay?" Honestly, better than I've been in a long time. The meltdown that followed over the next day was monumental. She called Travis's fiancé, screaming that I had conspired against her. She said bringing Chris was emotional violence. She demanded Travis kick Chris out of the Airbnb. She spun a dozen different narratives trying to make herself the victim. What she didn't tell anyone, of course, was the part where she threatened to cheat on me to stop me from going in the first place. When I finally called her back on speakerphone with Chris beside me, because I was done playing private games, she didn't start with hello. She started with, "Do you have any idea how humiliating this is?" And I said, as calmly as I've ever said anything, "Not as humiliating as threatening to sleep with your ex because I wanted to attend my best friend's Bachelor weekend." Silence. Long, vibrating silence. Then I kept going. "I saw the messages, Lena. The emails. The stuff you sent Chris. The times you showed up uninvited. The fact that you've been trying to get him back for months while pretending he was chasing you." She insisted he was lying, manipulating me, gaslighting her. But the truth was standing right next to me, hands in pockets, jaw tight but steady. "I'm done," I told her. "This relationship is over. Don't come to my apartment. Don't call me. Don't contact my friends. I'm blocking your number when this call ends." She cracked then, voice breaking, trying a new angle, saying she'd been overwhelmed, that she didn't mean it, that she loved me. But love shouldn't feel like whiplash. Love shouldn't require fear to function. I hung up. An entire table applauded when I came back inside. An embarrassing but strangely comforting moment. The weekend ended peacefully after that. Chris and I talked a lot. Turns out trauma can bond people in bizarre ways. When I got home, though, the fallout hit. Lena started posting cryptic Instagram stories. Quotes about narcissistic men and when strong women intimidate weak partners and reclaiming your narrative. I ignored them. But then she started pulling mutual friends into a private group chat, spinning a new version of the story where I emotionally abandoned her during a mental health crisis and weaponized her past trauma and humiliated her by dragging her ex to a public event. What she didn't count on was Chris having meticulously saved everything she'd ever sent him, He compiled it all, blurred private details, kept only what mattered, and gave it to anyone who asked. Suddenly people who had doubted me were sending messages like, "Jesus, man, I'm sorry. I had no idea." 3 days later, she showed up at my apartment building crying, begging the doorman to let her up. He called me. I told him not to. She waited in the lobby for 20 minutes until security escorted her out. I filed a harassment report the next day. So did Chris. And that was that. Fast forward 3 months. Travis's wedding was beautiful. Calm. Lena free. Chris came as my plus one and blended right in. Everyone joked he was basically part of friend group now. And honestly, he is. We grab beers once a week. Trauma buddies, I guess. Life got weirdly good afterward. I met someone, Hannah, a friend of Chris's from his climbing gym. She's warm and grounded, and this still shocks me. Communicates like an actual human adult. No games. No power struggles. Just honesty and curiosity and space to breathe. But the final twist came when a stranger messaged me on LinkedIn. "Hey, weird question. Do you know a woman named Lena Myers? I've been seeing her for about a month. Something feels off. Your name came up when I was searching some things. Should I be worried?" His name was Carter. Nice guy. Smart. Nervous. And deeply confused. We met for coffee. He described the same patterns, the obsessive social media image crafting, the emotional whiplash, the inconsistencies, the manipulative guilt loops. I told him the truth, the whole truth, the way I wish someone had told me. He broke up with her 2 days later. She posted more cryptic quotes about men who fear powerful women. And then life moved on. The last update I'll give you is this. I ran into someone from her old PR job who told me she had been fired. Apparently, she'd used company analytics software to track her exes online. HR got involved. IT flagged her activity. And that was that. I didn't feel good hearing it. I didn't feel bad either. I felt nothing, which, honestly, is the most peaceful feeling I've had in years. And here's the strangest part. Chris once said, if she'd just been a normal amount of crazy, we'd probably still be trapped with our respective versions of her. He was right. Instead, we got a legendary Bachelor weekend, a friendship neither of us expected, and the kind of clarity you only get after storm wipes your entire view clean. Sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's breathing again. It's choosing better. It's surrounding yourself with people who don't treat love like a weapon. And it's sending one very well-timed selfie that says, without a single word, "I'm done being controlled." Life is good now. Really good. And for the first time in a long time, I'm not looking over my shoulder. I'm looking forward.